High scores. Arya's top score for everything, it seems. So this is the Armax Arena. What are they doing? Oh dear. Oh dear. This is one of those. Select one of the three, guess where the item is. Alright, I mean, at the moment, it seems to have reset. Okay, so we guess which one we think it's in? Sure. Oh, we lose 10 credits? No! Find the blue. It's... It's probably rigged. I'm pretty sure it's rigged. Like, actually. I'm pretty sure this is actually rigged. I'm not sure that it's possible to win.
Take a chance. You smart. You win.
So, you know, it's another way you can theoretically gamble, but I'm pretty sure that it quite literally just turns into you throwing away credits. But, more importantly, we have the arena over here. And, actually, what is this? Versus that, up there. Not entirely sure. I think we want to go upstairs first. Maybe? Maybe not. Maybe it ultimately leads to the same place. So, tickets for the arena, what exactly is this? You're asking yourself. Well, just you wait and see. Because this, I think, is the highlight of the post-main Citadel mission part of the DLC. So let's talk to the Armax VI and perhaps learn a little bit more.
Hello, Commander Shepard. Welcome to the Armax Arsenal Arena. Armax Arsenal and the Citadel Tourist and Visitor Board have registered you for a complimentary competitor's pass. You may start a match by going downstairs and selecting simulator options. When you are ready, enter the locker room.
Okay. So we go down there and access the combat controls, but that still doesn't really answer much of our questions. Can we chat with anyone else? Blasto 6? That's old news. Blasto 8 and later? That's where it's at. We chat with any of these VIs here. See some weapons. We see some stuff that I think we'll look at more later on. We'll hold off on that stuff for now. Those are the prizes, but let's head down here to the athletes only area. And once again, Arya just sweeping all the games here. I think there's only one where she was not top score, but let's see. Tolly Mayer, I don't recognize that name. Jordan Knowles again, a CSEC officer. Kalisa Al-Jalani apparently has some experience in, well, I mean, this is the arena, so one would assume some kind of combat. Bernard Plim, don't recognize that. Matriarch Athena, that is Arya's father, if you will. Irk, I don't think I recognize that one. Commander Bailey, once again, pretty high up there. Gray was Arya's second or third in command on the Omega DLC, the Batarian. Barla Vaughn, the Shadowbroker agent. Volus, who somehow has second place here. You know, if you're ever wondering how exactly a Volus fights, then Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. That is a place where you can actually not only see it, but actually experience it firsthand. And then obviously Arya at the top. Okay, and Armax actually, for what it's worth, was a manufacturer of various equipment in Mass Effect 1, and now we actually see they have this full-blown arena here in Mass Effect 3. So let's check out our email where perhaps we can get a little more information about what this thing is all about. So open the email system to receive messages from Armax Arena and fans. Welcome to your AAA experience. Welcome to the Armax Arena, where the danger is fake, but the excitement is real. New athletes can challenge the Cerberus and Geth enemy sets at the foot soldier level. Additional layouts, enemies, and allied licenses can be purchased from the Armax store on the main level of the arena. Completing any match awards a bronze, silver, or gold prize depending on your point totals. These prizes are redeemable at the arena store for credits to unlock play options. Bonus points can be acquired by finishing the match quickly, capturing bonus objectives, kill streaks, or taking voluntary handicaps. Voluntary advantage can be taken, but these reduce your final score. See you in the sim, the Armax Arsenal Arena team. So, it is basically a set of enemies that you go up against voluntarily, and depending on how you perform against them, you can earn points, and depending on how many points you score, you can get a variety of different rewards for it. And so this is the thing that I was alluding to a while back where I was saying how, technically speaking, you can get an unlimited source of credits in Mass Effect 3 once you get here, depending on how many arena runs you want to try out. So we'll certainly give it a look here. So we have a few different options to choose from. So we can select our level, which is basically, I think, our arena. We can go either Wingman or Blasteroid. Let's go maybe Wingman first. That's our arena. Then for the enemies, we can either go Geth or we can go Cerberus. Why don't we start with Cerberus? Then for the challenge level, at the moment, we only have foot soldiers unlocked, but you'll see here there are additional options that are not yet available to us that we can unlock in time. So foot soldiers is basically the lowest difficulty. And I'm actually kind of curious how this stacks up to multiplayer difficulties, because in multiplayer, the difficulty, and the reason why I keep on making these comparisons to multiplayer is because this arena that's really the closest comparison. It is very, very similar to Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, if I remember the arena correctly, at least that is. And it's waves of enemies that generally get increasingly difficult in time, and you can set things up in advance to go in a specific location against a specific enemy and specific difficulty. But in multiplayer, the difficulties are bronze, silver, gold, and platinum in order from least to most difficult. And so, but there's no aspect of normal difficulty, hardcore difficulty, insanity difficulty, or anything like that. So, obviously, right now, we are, I believe, unless the game has, as it has done previously, has reset us to a different difficulty. No, it is still on insanity. Good. So I'm not exactly sure how that mixes and matches with the foot soldier difficulty here in the combat simulator, because in multiplayer, choosing the difficulty affects numerous things. It affects how many enemies you encounter, it affects what type of enemies you encounter, and it affects how much HP and how much damage those enemies have and deal. Obviously, the higher the difficulty, the more enemies, the more powerful the enemies, or the more powerful varieties of enemies you run into, and those enemies have more HP and deal more damage. But that's all stuff that would normally already be affected by the difficulty in-game on the campaign for things like single player, or in single player for things like, you know, the normal veteran, hardcore, insanity, and what have you. But then there's also the foot soldier stuff. So basically what I'm getting at is I'm not entirely sure what affects what. Like, does the in-game difficulty in terms of normal, hardcore, veteran, insanity, all that stuff, I did that in the wrong order, but does that stuff just affect the HP and damage of the enemies? Because there are some instances in the campaign where that has a minor effect on the quantity and variety of enemies that you encounter, but it's usually not the primary factor. It's usually just the HP and the damage. But that's my guess, is that that's the primary thing that the in-game difficulty affects. And then here, this option for the challenge selection, I imagine, is more so the maybe quantity, but I would think perhaps primarily types of enemies you encounter. So, like, you know, are you running into basic assault troopers, or are you running into atlases and phantoms? So, I mean, we'll check it out. Then score modifiers. We currently do not have any unlocked here, but we can check more on that types of stuff later on once there are more options available to us. Then we can select allies. And so at the moment, we can choose from our our usual squad here. Ashley, Edie, Garrus, Liara, and James. And, could be, excuse me, also Javik and Tally. How dare you move Tally onto the second page. So then, there theoretically may become additional options for us to unlock as well. That's exciting stuff, but not yet available to us. So what I'm thinking here is I'm thinking that we basically go in here and let's do a match in which we choose a team of people that we just haven't had much chance to use thus far. For whatever reason, like, you know, we've used Garrus in almost every single mission, and we've used Liara is definitely our second most common selection, followed probably by Tally after that. So I'm thinking, like, who have we used the least? Probably a combination of Ashley, Edie, and James. Javik, not that much, but there have been a few times, like we brought him to Thessia, we brought him to the Krogan team mission, and every now and again, he's gotten the chance to make some appearances. I mean, like, we have mixed Edie and Ashley in and James in every now and again, but it's still pretty rare. So especially if we're talking about going against Cerberus, it might make sense to go with Edie because she has a lot of anti-shield abilities, and Cerberus does have a lot of shields. So why don't we select her? We technically can go in solo if we'd like, but no, we'll take Edie. We could go in as a duo if we'd like, but no, we'll take a third person as well. And for that, I mean, Ashley does have the Disruptor ammo, which gives us all extra weapons damage against shielded enemies, which is nice. James is more of an anti-armor person, which, I mean, there are some armored units on Cerberus, but there aren't that many of them. So, might mean this is more of a natural fit for Ashley. So then, does this look... Oh, also we can't walk away from this terminal as we're in the middle of selection. So does this look right? We have the arena, we have the enemy, we have the difficulty, and I wonder if maybe this image here is sort of a preview of, like, this is the most difficult type of enemy you will get at this difficulty level. And that's a Centurion there, so for Foot Soldier difficulty, that makes sense, I suppose, that's not a super powerful enemy that we'd be encountering. But okay, other thing worth noting is I think that technically speaking, in the original Citadel DLC for the original Mass Effect 3, there was some kind of bug where even if you were on Hardcore or Insanity difficulty, apparently the game would max out at normal difficulty in this combat simulator in the arena, and so you could be on Insanity difficulty and you would find things way easier here in the arena than you would normally find them. I have no... But anything below normal would still work, so if you're on... I forget what the other names of the lower difficulties are, but maybe like casual or story mode or something like that, then you'll still get the reduced difficulty there, just for whatever reason, it bugs out and caps out at normal difficulty, even if you have it listed as Insanity, as we just recently checked. But for that reason, it might be easier for us here, potentially significantly easier for us, but I don't know if that's still the case in Legendary Edition or if that's been sorted out. So, I don't know. Let's see. We can save and exit. I guess we save and exit? Oh. Or commence? Or do we... we probably go through the locker room in order to actually commence. Winners don't use drugs. Kids don't do it. The Armax Arena uses state-of-the-art weapon simulators to produce an exciting near-combat experience. Though weapon impacts are, in reality, just mild electrical feedback or firm taps from internal Mass Effect fields, the game itself is as complex as any real encounter. Kinda like Pinnacle Station, the DLC for Mass Effect 1, new athletes can only challenge the Cerberus and Geth enemy sets at the Foot Soldier level. Additional layouts, enemies, and ally licenses can be purchased from the Armax store at the main level of the arena. So those are the various options that we saw that we either had very limited options for or just were entirely locked. Those are potential things we can unlock as rewards, depending on how well we fare. Completing any match awards a prize in the arena store depending on your points. So 0 to 1,999 is a bronze prize. Below 6,000 is silver, and anything 6,000 plus is gold. So obviously we'd like to be stacking up the golds there, but might need to work our way up a little bit, starting at the bottom and then building up to the bigger stuff after that. What we can do here, though, is we can swap around our armor if there's anything that we want to change here, and similarly, our weapons. So, okay, and it does load for our entire squad here. So, for Ashley, Typhoon, Javelin probably makes sense. Yeah, I think we'll probably stick with that. For Edie, Hurricane, Scorpion, now you could potentially justify swapping Edie from Scorpion over onto the Executioner pistol. Oh, we didn't get the chance to upgrade this. This was one that we were saying might make some sense for some squad mates. Or Talon with upgrades does become quite a potent pistol as well. This was sort of the shotgun pistol that we really have not used much at all. It's on the heavier side for sure, which is one reason why, at least for us, it didn't make a lot of sense. But in terms of hard-hitting pistols, this is up there with the Executioner pistol. Not quite as sniper-like in that you can shoot a couple of times before you actually need to reload. And it does shoot numerous pellets simultaneously, so in that way, it is very shotgun-like, rather than the single shot and then need to reload, but super high headshot multiplier Executioner pistol. But neither one of those is upgraded. So for that reason, maybe we do just stick with the Scorpion for her. And Hurricane as well. Yeah, I think this looks good. Let's go for this. Okay, so we're all loaded up here. That's the gist of it. And then here's where we get it started, so let's do it. Okay, and let's actually see. It's been so long since we used some of these people. Oh boy. Oh boy. 14 points for Ashley. That's a lot, but 20 for Edie. That's a good sign, a good indicator of just how long it has been since we've actually used these characters. So yeah, for Edie, it has been a very long time indeed. And for her, let's see, what do we have left? We have Defense Matrix, a little bit in Decoy, but of course we've used Defense Matrix for ourselves. So that's perhaps something that we'd like to pursue with Edie as well. Whereas Decoy, oh, hold on. Decoy perhaps not as interesting to us. Defense Matrix. So for her, we can either go Durability for passive damage or increase the shield restoration when she purges her Defense Matrix. Now, I'm not sure how actively we want to be micromanaging Edie's Defense Matrix. We might just want to have her keep this on and not worry too much about purging it when she runs out of shields, because that's going to take a level of attention to Edie and Edie specifically that perhaps we can't really afford when we primarily need to focus on Shepard, of course. So I think we probably do just go for the passive damage reduction. Then we have shield recharge, decrease shield recharge delay by 15%. That's really strong. That is really good. Or power synergy, increase tech power damage by 25% while Defense Matrix is active. So both sound great. It's largely just a matter of, do you prioritize the offense or do you prioritize the defense? So, I mean, you could make a case for either one, certainly. But I think in this case, this is probably just too good to pass up on. Then power recharge, reduce power speed penalty by 30%. Remember, by having the Defense Matrix on, it makes it so that every power takes longer to come back off cooldown. And we may have actually deliberately not been using Defense Matrix on Edie before until we had upgraded it more fully, because we thought, that trade-off is probably not worth it until Defense Matrix is stronger. But in this case, we can either make it so that penalty is less significant, or we can make it so that she gets even more passive damage reduction. So those are the choices there. And again, in this case, it is primarily just a matter of, do you prioritize offense or do you prioritize defense? And in this case, I mean, we took the defensive upgrade there, so you could go all in on the defense. Or you could say, well, we've done enough defensively that maybe we want to cover things offensively, because that's the thing about Edie, is that it's one thing for us when we have so many cooldown buffs that even with Defense Matrix on, our cooldowns for at least our basic abilities like Singularity are almost instantaneous. But for Edie, not so much. Overload is 12.8 seconds. Incinerate is 10.67 seconds. And she's a power-based character, mind you. She is not dishing out the weapons damage. She's not like a Garrus who's just going to crush people with all of her her gunfire. So we need her to be throwing out those abilities. Otherwise, she's just not making any significant contributions, or at least not contributing at the level that another squad mate would be contributing in her place. So I think for that reason, we might need to go power recharge. Otherwise, it's just going to be hard to justify bringing her with us. So we do that, and then we have a few points remaining here where we can put rank 2 into decoy and rank 3 as well. So this also has a really long recharge time, but it creates a decoy with 1,000 shields, and the decoys tend to work better on certain characters or certain enemies than others. I think melee enemies that is, tend to completely ignore them, and if the decoy gets created right in front of an enemy, then they'll also ignore it. But if you sort of proactively place it out there and the enemies are trying to close in on you, then that might be sufficient to get a little bit of opposing fire off of you. But still, generally, not one of my preferred abilities, at least probably not as meaningful as some of the other options that Edie has. And for what it's worth, I think I've heard that for whatever reason, enemies are just wildly inaccurate when they're trying to target the decoy. And so when it comes to things like increasing the decoy shields, usually is not necessary because enemies just can't really hit them all that often. And so you tend not to need them. But I'm don't quote me on that. Decoy is not exactly an ability that I tend to use all that often. So I think it does make sense for all those reasons for decoy to be the thing that we focus the least on here. Then for Ashley, we have not as many points remaining for her, but we can either go with the Inferno Grenade or we can go with the Disruptor Ammo. And Disruptor Ammo, I believe we went with the squad option here. We did. So yeah, that will prove, I think, quite helpful, because again, at least for Shepard, that is our greatest weakness, is we don't have a great answer for enemies that have shields, and obviously the Disruptor Ammo is great against shields, so I do really like that. Then we can either go ammo capacity or headshots, and this one, I mean, obviously headshots is extra damage. The problem for us, at least, is the Acolyte can't get headshots, and then squad mates tend not to make a deliberate point of shooting in the head. Now, Ashley has the Typhoon with her assault rifle, which has enough bullet spread that every once in a while there's probably going to be an errant bullet that happens to hit an enemy in the head, so you're getting the extra damage from that. Is that reason enough to take it over? The ammo, which is mostly just quality of life, doesn't really matter much for squad mates because they'll reload when they run out of ammo in a clip, but they have unlimited ammo. Whereas for us, I mean, we're getting this ammo effect at 50% effectiveness, so it's really 15% additional ammo capacity for us. I mean, it does something, whereas headshots, I mean, it does do something for the Hurricane, but Hurricane is also probably not the easiest thing to get headshots on. It's possible, but it has so much kick that that's not exactly the way they're usually shooting the Hurricane. Usually you fire at people's feet, and by the time you finish the clip, you're firing at people's heads, because it just has that much muzzle climb. But usually if you're trying to start at people's heads, by the time you finish the clip, you're shooting straight up at the sky, unless you're fighting it significantly, which, I mean, is possible, but it's a pain. So, although theoretically headshots is great, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for us. So I think we might actually take ammo capacity. Then stun, improve the odds of stunning target by 25%, or just plain and simple, extra damage. And I mean, for this one, I'm thinking we're probably gonna take the extra damage here. Then that leaves us with enough for one more Inferno Grenade, just to get a little more damage here. So that means Ashley, because it's been so long, has Inferno Grenade for armor. Disruptor Ammo means just weapons are going to deal good damage against shield. Concussive Shot is upgraded for amplification, so it takes on the effect of whatever ammo she has, and that means it's going to be a disruptor or tech-centric concussive shot, so good against shields. And concussive shot, regardless of whatever form it does or does not have, always has a humongous multiplier against barriers. I think it's either ×3 or it might even be ×4 damage against barriers, so absolutely insane. Marksman, of course, just for the even better damage with her weapon, so that ties in well with dealing extra damage to shielded enemies with her disruptor ammo, and then her passive, which gives her basically as much damage as Garrus has. So she may be cleaning up shop here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's combat night
here we are. All right, so let's activate the ammo. Let's make sure people have the right weapons on, which they do now. And now,
5, 4, 3.
you'll be looking to take down some enemies here. So we have an arena that will have enemies in it in approximately 1 second. So we need to take them out as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Round 1.
Put it simply, I am curious. Ooh, that's a grenade. I'm curious to what extent we see, is the difficulty really the same as we would expect?
3, 4, 5.
Oh, I like the kill streak. Is it really the difficulty that we're expecting here on Insanity? Or is it more along the lines of normal difficulty? Also, they dodged the Singularity, which is not cool, man. It's not cool, bro. That's strictly illegal, in fact. Okay, let's see. EDM, you could put on Defense Matrix, but honestly, you probably don't need it. Because at the moment, it's all Assault Troopers, it seems.
Kill streak is over.
Bonus!
5,
Nab it.
4, 3.
Ammo, who needs it? Also, there are going to be enemies spawning right on top of us, which is maybe not ideal. Hello, friend. There are 2 enemies over here that we could potentially, I mean, we're still on cooldown, but what if we just, put Inferno Grenade primes, and then Edie can do this to double detonate. Edie went down! Edie? Right as you were about to detonate that? Oh, the Centurions. So, I mean, we could bring Edie back, but do we need to bring Edie back? I'm not sure that we need to bring Edie back. We might not need to bring Edie back. So, Disruptor ammo, or rather, I should say, Concussive Shot, looks like it's grayed out, because the game does not remember that technically that's an amplified Concussive Shot that takes on the effects of the Disruptor ammo, so it is capable of dealing extra damage to shields, so this is still a really good option for us. Ooh, that's not good. Wait, really? Well, that was silly. That was silly. Okay, we made a stupid. We did a stupid. We just got a little carried away. It might honestly be normal difficulty. And I probably wouldn't have done that. Honestly, if it were Insanity difficulty, we would be just hanging out in cover the entire time. But we haven't really needed to do that.
4,
So, oh, we're also all spawning right on top of us? What?
3,
Spawning in different places this time.
1.
That's also very much not where I wanted to be.
Round 1.
I do like how it tells us exactly where they're going to spawn in advance. Technically, we could proactively throw out a Singularity. That is a thing that we are theoretically capable of doing.
Kill streak. 3.
Someone over here? You. Oh, also, we don't have Defense Matrix on, or rather, yeah, we don't have Defense Matrix on right now. I'd kind of like to do once we take care of you. Also, that was not a great... Oh, there are more enemies here than I thought. I thought that was the last enemy this wave. It was not. Okay, remember the thing where I said that we technically don't have Defense Matrix on? And we should probably do that? Whoa, okay. What if we do a double throw? Oh, we only got one of them? Really? I don't believe it.
Kill streak.
Hello, good sir.
Round 1 is
Goodbye,
over.
good sir. Nab the bonus for some additional points. Not as good in the way of
2,
points there, but yeah, as I was saying, we can do this.
1. Round 2.
And hopefully have them, yes, walk straight into that. So I love that. Also, we could just throw them off the map, potentially. That is a Centurion, so we cannot yet get you into that singularity. Until that happens, now we can. Oh, singularity. Throw. So this is what it should be like. Just a simple line them up and knock them down. Not sure we're gonna get that guy quickly enough. Oh, yep. Let's get the bonus. Very nice. Where are they spawning? Looks like they're spawning on the other side, actually, for the most part. Once again, should probably clear this out. Ooh, final round, you say? Oh, you technically weren't in the singularity yet. Darn. Let's go concussive. That did not seem to work entirely as intended. That's a grenade. Keep the kill streak going. Please actually use the abilities I'm telling you to use. Whoa, buddy. Well, apparently, that guy we did not kill quickly enough to keep the kill streak going, I don't think. This Guardian's gonna be a little annoying. Not sure if we're gonna be able to concussive shot him from here. Go boom, please. No, Ashley. So admittedly, I'm not really micromanaging at least our positioning for our squad mates at all, which, you know, perhaps would be something that we should do. ED, you really just needed to do that slightly faster. Take him out. Stop dodging. There we go. All right, just ignore the fact that we might have stumbled a little bit there initially. So let's see. We were under 5 minutes, so we got a bonus there. We got the objective bonuses twice. That's 400 extra points. Kill streak of 7. So kill streak score, base score. Can you just tell us what our final score is? Final score 2,930. We needed. Okay, so that was silver. Okay, I was gonna say, do we need to get to 3,000 to get silver? In which case we just missed it. But no, we got silver. And I'm not really sure we can get much higher than silver, given how we are currently at basically the lowest difficulty settings and what have you. Okay, not really sure what we're staring at there. So that's a taste of what the arena is all about, and of course there are many other settings that we can put on there in terms of enemies, difficulties, maps, and what have you. And we do have a silver reward that we can now redeem. So, look at the inventory. So for each of the levels of rewards basically have different categories of things that you can redeem. So you can kind of see, based on the little previews there, you can see people's faces, familiar faces, over there on the bronze one. You can see ammo crossed out, metagel / first aid crossed out over there on silver, and then oh, it's like a collector, a banshee, an atlas, Praetorian on gold. So gives you a little bit of a hint as to what you might find here. So let's look at the inventories. So on bronze, we get some new arenas: Spin Zone, Primeval, the Armax Classic, Pain Train, and Brimstone. We also get ally licenses. Allows Rex to fight alongside you. So you remember how initially we were only able to select between our characters who are currently available party members for us in the Mass Effect 3 campaign. But you saw there were other options that were grayed out, that were locked. That is because with the Bronze reward, we can unlock Rex, obviously from Mass Effect 1, and we saw him briefly in the Citadel DLC. Jack from Mass Effect 2, Brunt, Mass Effect 2, and, I mean, in many cases, of course, these people had cameo appearances of sorts in Mass Effect 3 as well. Jacob, Miranda, Samara, Kasumi, Zaid, all of these friends, with a Bronze reward, we can pick them up. So, of course, one Bronze reward redeems one of these prizes. And so, can't get them all simultaneously, but there's a lot of options here, and they are available as long as you have completed, I think the rule is they're available here as long as you have completed their whatever appearance they may have in Mass Effect 3. You've seen that all the way through, and they're live, which in some cases is not that easy to do. So, fortunately, I think we do have everyone as an option here. But that's the Bronze rewards. For the Silver rewards, we have various modifiers to either increase or decrease the difficulty of the encounter. Getting rid of Metagel, which will make it so that we rack up a higher score. Reducing our shields. Increasing enemy shields. Increasing enemy damage. Making it so that ammo doesn't drop. Making us deal more damage. This would be one that would reduce our score. Yeah, it gives you fewer points. We can also unlock Reapers as a new type of enemies. As we saw previously, we only had the option of choosing between either Cerberus or Geth, and so Reapers are not available unless and until we unlock this. And then Elite Challenge, a new difficulty, because we saw Foot Soldiers was the only one that we had available to us, and so for Foot Soldiers on Cerberus, we saw lots of Assault Troopers, a little bit of Centurions, and the occasional Guardian was as hard as it got. So, not so bad. I mean, again, we might have stumbled a little bit initially, but I don't know what you're talking about. You saw nothing. So that's Silver. And then, oh, also, hold on. Yeah, okay. And then, for Gold, we can either unlock Collectors as a totally new enemy, which we actually did not encounter a single Collector enemy, I don't believe, in Mass Effect 3. Obviously, they were the primary antagonists of Mass Effect 2, but they can make a comeback here in Mass Effect 3 if you choose to unlock this here. We can go Super Elite as the next difficulty, or we can go Mirror Match, fight enemies with different powers based on Commander Shepard's combat ability. That sounds kind of nasty as well. So that's the big stuff. Right now we have a Silver, so if we redeem a Silver prize, we can also not only get all that stuff that we were just talking about, we can either convert a single Silver prize into 3 Bronze prizes. So if you say, maybe you want to get a whole bunch of your squad mates, additional squad mates available as quickly as possible, that might be a good route to take. Also, you can choose to just get monies, and so this is why you can technically get unlimited money in Mass Effect 3, because you can do as many arena runs as you'd like, and depending on how well you perform, you can redeem credits here. So for Silver, it's 3,000. For Bronze, it might be like 900. And then for Gold, I think might be as high as 5,000. I think it's more than Silver times, rather 10,000, I should say. Because yeah, it's always more than the lower level times 3, because otherwise you could just, we could convert a single Silver into 3 Bronzes and just use the Bronze to unlock the credits there and get more credits. But no, it is, you are losing a little bit of credits if you go that route. So if you're going to convert down to the lower level, then you're doing it because there are specific things that you want to unlock rather than doing it straight from the monies. So that might be of interest. That might be of interest to convert back down. But let's take a quick look here.
That match was rigged. What are you talking about? There's no way Barlamon's team should have won. It was rigged.
I don't know how Barlamon is so good.
You're just saying that because you won.
apparently, he's got the second top score. Oh, no. Oh, he's down to 3 now. I'm pretty sure that Parlavon was 2 previously, and Bray was number 3 or number 4. But if we go here... Oh, no, not there. If we go to... Thought there was... a message. Yeah, there we go. Email. Welcome to the club. From this one is number 1. Commander. This one just noticed your appearance on the leaderboard and wished to offer its congratulations. It advises that success in combat sports can bring out an enthusiastic fan base. Do not worry about them. Most are quite harmless. Most, not all, but most. Wishing you gentle tides. Number 1. So, sounds like, just by the way this is written, that this was sent by a Hanar. Hello from Kithoy Ward. From Rossulinix Christless. Commander Shepard. Just wanted to let you know that we're big fans out here in Kithoy Ward. I'm a bartender at a club, and we put your matchup on the vid screen by popular demand. Next match, I'm setting up a drinking game, so just imagine that there's going to be a room full of ward rats drowning shots whenever you grab a bonus objective. Try hard out there, but try not to give my customers alcohol poisoning. We'll see about that, Ross. Then Wrecking Machines from CU Engineering Club. Commander, your match got you quite a following here at the Citadel U. Engineering Club, that is. When we heard you were in the arena, we polled the club for what kind of dream matchup they'd like to see. Funny thing, the votes came in, and not a lot of people wanted Reapers or Cerberus. I guess that's too much like the news. They wanted to see you take down the Geth, just like the old days. So they're getting some friends together, and I wanted to ask, could you do one just for us? Geth on Blasteroid map. We can't really afford to pay you, and you're probably doing pretty well for yourself anyway as a big-time Spectre and all that, but some of the engineers here are in weapons research. Give us a game, and we'll make you a mod. Is that too gosh? I don't know how you pronounce that. Thanks. Dave Chanel, or Chanel? Anti-President? CU Engineering Club. Alright, the Citadel University Engineering Club. Apparently we have some fans, and with that, we actually do get a quest for this. So, Geth Challenge, the Citadel University Engineering Club, has requested a special match. Fight Geth enemies in the Blasteroid map of the Armax Arsenal arena. So, we have access to Geth. We have access to... I think we have access to Blasteroid. Let's double check. We do. We can do that. And we can do this. And based on the preview here, what is that? Is that a rocket trooper that we'd expect to run into? So, we have all the setup we need for that quest. But I just wanted to take a look at that before we lock in our rewards here, because that could potentially influence what we want to set up. So if we're looking to go against Geth, then what if we do redeem our silver by converting it into bronzes? Because I do think that unlocking some additional friends might be something that we'd like to do here. So let's redeem some bronze prizes. And we can do maps, but no, I think getting teammates is perhaps what we're mostly looking to do. So we got the chance to use some teammates that we just haven't seen all that much of in our first match. That's good. There are perhaps still a few more here or there that we might want to use later on, but what about other options here? If we're talking specifically against Geth, of course, they do have a lot in the way of shields, much like Cerberus. So if we're looking for people that are good against shields, probably not Samara. She's a biotic like us and therefore has much of the same strengths and weaknesses, and so if we're not good against shields, she's not going to be particularly good against shields either. Jacob. Let's not talk about Jacob. Grunt and Rex, or Grunt in particular, technically has best damage against armor for reasons, well, I mean, we technically haven't seen the abilities of many of the characters here, but they, for the most part, for squad mates from Mass Effect 2, their abilities are similar to what they were in Mass Effect 2, but there are generally an extra option or two in terms of what they have access to in Mass Effect 3, as we've seen for just about every character. There's just more abilities and more skill points to spend. So it's going to be a similar set of skills and therefore likely a similar set of strengths and weaknesses, although it does vary a little bit from character to character. Some are pretty much carbon copies, some are quite a bit more different. But in terms of who we'd like to have for going against the Geth, Miranda, as I think we will soon see, is just absolutely insane how good she is. All of her abilities are basically just like the best biotic ability, the best fire ability, the best tech ability, so on and so forth, where it's just like, okay, I mean, she's good at everything, and really good at everything at that. So, definitely, she's a very strong, I would probably say, the best option here, by probably a very significant margin as well. But, perhaps we'll be looking to use her in the later matches when we might start to be amping up the difficulty more. So to start things off with, what if we go maybe something like Kasumi, Grunt, and Rex? Grunt and Rex, we have already built Rex's character, but I think he's probably going to be doing more along the lines of melee. Perhaps both of them will be. And the Geth, I mean, they're not bad for doing melee. They do have a lot of stun ability, which can make that kind of tough to do melee, unless you're a Krogan, because Krogan actually have additional ability, or rather, additional resistance to stuns, more so than other characters and other species do. So, for that reason, might make sense to perhaps even go with a double Krogan showdown here with Rex and Grunt. I say we go for that. Let's bring in Rex, and let's bring in Grunt. And then, after that, I don't know. I mean, as I said, Miranda, I think, is almost certainly the best teammate by a very large margin. So it might make sense to get her as soon as possible, just so that she's available to us. Even if we might not be looking to use her immediately. But there you go. So we converted to bronze. We got the license to use Rex, Grunt, and also Miranda. And let's see, so at the moment, we are on the high score list here. We are just below Bernard Plim. I don't recognize that name? I don't think I do. It's a little odd. We're very close. Surely we can outdo him, right?